guys, so for dinner today I decided that I wanted to make a galette. And what a galette is it's kind of can totally be super ugly, rustic, open-faced tart. You can put whatever you want in it. It's really just to kind of clean out all the veggies in your fridge type dinner. So what I have on hand that I'm gonna be using today is I'm gonna be using this eggplant. I've got some mushrooms, I've got some rosemary and thyme that I wanna use. I do recommend for the filling having something kind of like creamy in it to bind it together. All I have is this ricotta, so that's what I'm gonna be using. If I had more cheese, I'd add more, but you don't need it, it's fine. The point of this is to just use what you have, right? So for the crust, you will need all-purpose flour, you'll need a little bit of lemon juice, you'll need some unsalted butter, and then you'll need either sour cream or some sort of plain whole milk yogurt. I have Greek yogurt, so that's what we're gonna be using today. Apparently you can also use ricotta to make this. I've never done it that way, but you know, you try it and let me know how it goes. So the first thing we wanna do is we want to chill the flour that we're gonna be using, as well as cut up and then chill the butter, because we don't want a greasy, melty crust as we're making it with our hands. So the best way to measure out flour, if you don't have the recipe by weight, is you want to use like the scoop and then this method, because what that will do is will make sure that you're not packing the flour in and then accidentally getting more than you actually need. So you want to just take a spoon, take your flour, just pile it in there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take a knife, scrape off the top, back in there. Put that in there. Don't need this anymore. And then what you're gonna need is you're gonna need 8 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Find these little markings. And then what you wanna do is you wanna cut this cold butter, make sure it's cold when you do this. You wanna cut it into little chunks, and then you're gonna stick all of this in the freezer. Bibbo, will you help me edit this later? Or at least tell me what looks good.
Yeah.
And you want to try and get these into like small-ish pieces, because what you're going to do is you're going to cut them up into the flour later. All right, now we're going to put all this in the freezer for about a half hour. Do whatever you want in that time. I don't care. Cool, so now we've got our chilled flour, our frozen butter, and what we wanna do is we wanna cut the butter into the flour so you kind of get like little crumb-like pieces in there. Now, if you have a pastry cutter, that's apparently a good way to do this. I don't have a fucking pastry cutter. I got a bunch of forks and knives though, so that'll have to do. Just cut up the butter, basically, is what you wanna do. What you also wanna do that I forgot to do is you want to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt to the flour and whisk that in before you put in the butter. So let's just pretend that I did that. Are you a different person than you were before?
No.
Oh, you look like a...
Like a hoodie sometimes.
See, this is why it's good to have your butter in like little chunks before you do this. Makes it a little bit easier. If somebody's like an experienced pastry chef and wants to tell me a better way to do this, like, please go right the fuck ahead. Yeah, fuck. You know, things don't always go like the way you plan. Sometimes you thought you knew how to do something and you don't, and then you have to figure it out, and that's part of the fun. That's okay. And then you get to play with the butter with your fingers. Probably not supposed to use your hands this much because you don't want to get it warm. The point is for everything to be cold, but cool, so that's done. So see what you have here at the end. What you want is this kind of coarse, crumbly mixture where you have like tiny little butter lumps. You don't want the biggest ones to be that big. Again, if I was a better pastry chef, they'd all probably be a little bit smaller, but I'm not, so. Then what you wanna do is you wanna mix a 1/4 cup of your either your sour cream or your yogurt. Again, we're using Greek yogurt here. You want 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice. Whoop. And then you want a 1/4 cup of ice water. It's a quarter, right? Fabulous. Whisk that all around. Delicious. And then what you want to do, tiny little well in there. Get your wooden spoon or your hands. Fucking hands, whatever. You want to put that mixture in there, and you just kind of want to mix it around. It's not going to get a perfectly smooth dough. You're actually going to get something like a little bit lumpy. That's fine. You want lumps. You do not want to overmix this dough because it's going to get tough and it's not going to be flaky and nice. Then you just want to get in there with your hands. Don't be shy. It's okay. Just kind of shaggy, lumpy boys. You just kind of want to mush all that into a little ball. Doesn't have to be neat or tidy. Kind of looks like some sort of weird like alien specimen. Just got like all these different like, it's almost these little like tendrils coming out of it. Get a little plastic wrap. Wrap them up. Put this guy in the fridge for at least an hour. We're gonna do an hour today because I'm getting hungry. But if you wanna like make this recipe beforehand, you can do that, and like up to a day. Like you can make this like right now and have it ready for dinner tomorrow if you don't feel like doing all this work at one point. It's up to you. So while that's chilling, we want to make the filling. And like I said, I'm doing like ricotta mushroom eggplant filling. We're gonna start making the filling. And like I said, we're doing a ricotta mushroom eggplant filling. One thing I really wanna show you is what to do with eggplant, because this is a useful skill because eggplant can be a fucking bitch. Cut this guy off. Whoop! Cut it in half like that. For these purposes of today, I kinda wanna get thin little like half moon guys. I'm probably just gonna cut up this whole eggplant, honestly. Let's cut these guys really, really, really thin, okay? Because we're not cooking it before we put it in the oven. We're just gonna put it right on the fucking pie, and that's what we're gonna do, okay? And the thing about eggplant is when it's undercooked, it's disgusting, but like you can't really overcook it. Like all that happens when you overcook it is it just melts and melts and melts and gets juicier and gooier and more delicious. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go thin. That one's ugly, but we're gonna use it anyway. I'm gonna cut off this gross part. Hey! You know what, I lied. We're only gonna use half this eggplant. I don't know why I thought we were gonna use all this eggplant. I'm sorry. That was really stupid of me. I got this cutting board with some paper towel on it. Lay these guys out, okay? On that paper towel. And again, anytime you're cooking eggplant, no matter what it's for, you should do something like this, no matter the size of the eggplant cuts or anything like that, because it'll help get out some of that moisture so you get something nice and crispy. And then what you want to do is just take a big pinch of salt and then just cover these guys with salt. You're gonna let this sit for about half an hour. Salt's gonna draw out the moisture, and then you're gonna pat these guys down with another towel. We're gonna move on. Okay, can you check that it's recording again?
It is.
Thank you. All right, so now we're gonna make the mushroom part of the filling. And again, this is all, I'm literally like making all this shit up as I go along. This is so like whatever the fuck you wanna do. I just think this would taste good, so it's what I'm doing. If you don't like mushrooms, then you know, fuck it, you don't have to do it. So what I have here is about a ½ pound of mushrooms, thinly sliced. I'll do that, show you how that works. Your big knife. Always your big knife for thin slicing. It gives you the most control. It's the safest. That one's a little fat, but it'll be fine. Recipes like this, they always say like 1 garlic clove. That's never enough garlic. Whenever you read a recipe and it tells you garlic sizes to use, always double it. I'm serious. They don't know what the fuck they're trying. I don't know why people let them publish recipes with like 1 clove of garlic in it. And the whole thing about recipes anyways is just like, they're guidelines. Unless you're baking, it's a guideline. If you're like sitting there like measuring out like spices with like a little teaspoon, like you're never gonna get a feel for how much spices you like in it, and you're not gonna feel free to experiment. I'm not doing a very good job of chopping up this garlic. You should probably watch another YouTube video to tell you how to do that, because I'm not doing great at it. Put those guys in there. Got about 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh thyme. Big pinch of salt. Probably like a teaspoon or something. I don't know. That's probably too much. See, I don't know how much salt to tell you, because I just big pinch. I don't know what I don't know what it is in teaspoons. Again, pepper, just enough pepper until you're done. Until it's enough pepper. That's all I can tell you. And some olive oil. Mix that up with a big old spoon. Doesn't have to be a fancy spoon. A little bit more olive oil. I like olive oil, so. I feel like I've been making this in video for my entire life. So basically, for whatever kind of creamy part of the filling you want, you basically want about like 2 cups. This is 16 ounces of ricotta. It's a little under 2 cups. I'm gonna put in about maybe 2 tablespoons fresh rosemary, salt, pepper, olive oil, a couple cloves of minced garlic. I'm gonna squeeze maybe half a lemon in there, and then I think I might have, ooh. Do you have any Parmesan?
I thought so. I thought there was like a rind in there.
Yeah, I've got some weird ends of Parmesan left, so I'm just gonna throw that in, because why not? Get that ricotta in there. Mince some more garlic. And for this one, you want to try and get the garlic as fine as possible. I don't really feel like explaining that. I've been talking a lot. I'm really thirsty.
Can we get you water?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Want me to explain it? Okay, good.
In you go. Rosemary, salt, olive oil, ooh, 2-3 tablespoons, something like that. Juice like half a lemon. Great way to use the other half of the lemon from the dough, by the way. This is making a really gross sound as I mix it, but I think it's gonna be really good. More salt. Just gonna grate in like all of this cheese. It's gonna take a while. Just tastes good. All right, that's enough. I'm bored. Now here I have that eggplant from before. Nice, and I don't know if you can like see. You see like all the moisture is kind of collected at the top, and we're just gonna wipe that off now. Yeah, see that? Picking it all up. Incredible. You can see all that moisture gone. So now we have all of our components ready, which means that it's time to preheat the oven to 400 degrees, and then we are gonna roll out our pastry dough. All right, so I've got my lightly floured work surface. I have my chilled pastry dough. We're gonna unroll that. I have my rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can also use like a wine bottle or something like that. Push it down with your hands a little bit. Flour in that guy too. You wanna roll this out into like kind of like a 12-inch or so circle. We said very rustic, very ugly. I'm sure there's a way to do this where it doesn't look as ugly, but you know what? I don't really give a shit, so. You just really wanna make sure that all of the kind of that it's just kind of even all the way across. Sometimes you might little cheat and put little guys like that. That's okay. We'll do it. So this is our lovely, ugly little pie crust. You want to have an ungreased baking sheet at the ready. I'm gonna put that on there. So first what we're gonna do is we're gonna put about half of our ricotta mixture, and you want to kind of leave a border around the edge of the, about roughly a 2-inch border, so you can fold it up at the end, right? You're gonna just put that guy right in the middle there. Yeah. Now the goal is that this is gonna be a circle. That might not happen. That's fine. Now what we wanna do is we wanna put our mushroom mixture. And again, there's a chance we might not use all this, and that's fine because you can do something with this later. You can saute it up. It would be like great with pasta or something like that. It would be great if you have like ricotta or something left over, if you want to make little like ricotta toasts. Put that on some bread, saute these mushrooms, put that on top of it. There's endless amounts of things you can do with mushrooms, garlic, and herbs. Shit. Hold on. What you really want to do is before you do that, you want to get this on your baking sheet. Ideally, I would have rolled that over the back of my pin, but now it's covered in ricotta, so. Whew, okay. Crisis averted. Cool. So you want to put the pastry on your baking sheet, and then you want to put shit on top of it so you can move it. Now we all know. Yo, we're almost done with this. I'm so fucking excited. I'm so happy you can say swear words on YouTube. Okay, and we're gonna put another layer of that ricotta on there. I can't emphasize how much I'm making this shit up right now, by the way. And then you wanna layer the eggplant around it. This you can like try and make it look pretty. I always do try to make it look pretty. I don't usually often succeed in that capacity, but it's fine. There's our ugly friend from before. Do you remember? Came back. We're gonna bury him because he's ugly. Remember when I said we were gonna use the whole eggplant? That was funny. And then you wanna just kind of take the edges and just fold them up like that. And now you kind of wanna like do little pleats, right? Not pretty, not professional, just delicious. All right, there is our lovely little pie. I want to do a little bit more olive oil, just a little bit on top. A little pepper. Here I have magically a beaten egg yolk. I don't have a pastry brush though, and this is to kind of just glaze the dough on top here. So I'm just gonna do a little this and just kind of encourage it with my hands. Because we're not in a restaurant. I am cooking for 2 people who have been quarantined together. So who cares? I know this is gross looking, but it's really fun and it actually feels really good. All right, so now we are ready to go. We're gonna pop this guy in the oven for 30 to 40 minutes until it just gets kind of nice and browned and bubbly. All right? All right. First, sorry, I'm still trying to figure out how the fuck to light this kitchen once the sun goes down. I don't know. Sorry if it like fucked with your head a little bit. Here we go. So you wanna wait until it just kind of gets like nice and golden brown. The eggplant gets nice and wilted. Cheese has gotten all bubbly. There's some leakage from some butter from that flaky crust, but this looks so good. I'm so excited to eat it. I would recommend serving this with something kind of like bright and crunchy, like a nice kind of like leafy salad with like a lemon vinaigrette or something like that. Yeah, this is really great. Again, completely made up. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. If this looks like garbage, but you like the crust, put some other shit in it. Put caramelized onions and like blue cheese and butternut squash or sweet potatoes, zucchini, whatever, anything you have. You can put fruit in it, make it dessert. It's really one of my favorite things. It's like really impressive. You can really do it with like a lot of stuff you have lying around. Yeah, I hope you like it. Thanks.